Well, Jess who just came home from the inspection station for the every year inspection required for this car, which seems a little too often to me. Please feed the YouTube algorithm by giving the video a like. If you want to see more like this, click subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. If you want to chip in on my expenses, I now have Patreon and YouTube memberships. I got out of it pretty much with the best I could hope for, given the history of this car. The first thing, the brake lights don't come on, and that's because of that damn little switch connected to the brake pedal that I had so much trouble with in the initial inspection. Second was, they instantly told me my headlights were not homologated to Spain. Now, you're not allowed to have LEDs. With my bad Spanish, I think he was telling me no LED bulbs at all, but I kind of don't believe him. Or I'm not trusting my translation. So I'm going to look it up again, and then I may have to switch for little halogen inserts that go into that shell. Hopefully they're much, much more efficient than the original Porsche bulbs I had in before. And then when they were doing the brake tests, they were all standing around pointing at things. And there's an item on there that I think talks about brakes, but it may just be a warning. I really don't want to have to take this to a shop and have them try and fix any kind of a braking issue. So let's get started on that. I've got a re-inspection appointment in 2 weeks. Need to get this fixed. Okay, I got the replacement halogen headlight bulbs. They're bog standard halogens, but they do have an extra life feature, whatever that means, guaranteed for 4 years. These will last for 40 years in this car with the amount of night driving I do. But let's do a test of the existing LED ones. Okay, I got lucky and the garage lights just timed out, so that's low beam. And that's high beam. So I switched the left bulb, and you can see how much orangier it is. Not as bright. Yeah, definitely not as bright, but thanks, Spain. Now we'll all be a little worse off in the roads. Okay, that's with both halogen bulbs in, and they are just killing the 12-volt bus on this thing. That's 120 watts of power that are being thrown out of the car. So that's low beam, and that's high beam. So let me put some before and after shots to show you the difference. And I had a minor heart attack because the high beam, low beam switch stopped working. I've had so much trouble with that. It could be the switch inside that complex of gunk behind the steering wheel. It could be the relay, or it could be a wire, or it could be something. Next problem, I decided to attack the brake. All the fuses are good, and the license plate light lights up, so it's not the fuse. Then I took all of the pieces out in about 5 minutes. I touched the two wires together and the light comes on. So that means it's this switch. It's either flaky or something's going wrong with it. The connections are very clean. I actually went back and watched my own video from when I went through the Spanish inspection, and I found that these terminals were very corroded. Well, I think I figured out the problem with the brake lights being intermittent is their terminals are incredibly corroded. That's bad. And then inside the connector pins, forget it. They're basically green. It's really hard to see with the bad focus in my camera, but look at that. That's why the brake failed yesterday, but it had worked before. So all I got to do is clean these, and hopefully I have a functioning brake light. But everything's clean, so I think it's just this switch. I don't know how many hundreds of euros it's going to cost me to find another switch like this and have it sent over. Okay, I did a lot of searching on the interwebs. I found some of the original switches from back in the day, and they are like €100 for that tiny switch. Although I did find companies making modern replicas for 24 something euros. And so I put my order in, and we'll see how that works out. All right, I swapped out the brake light switch, and the brakes lights work consistently. A little more of a strong brake pressure than I would have liked, but all I'm going for is on-off at this point. So we're basically ready for the reinspection. And after all that, I'm happy to report that the car passed the inspection, so I'm good for another year. I still did get a warning, only a warning, about the brake force balance left to right, but I'll get that fixed at a workshop when I come back in the spring. And so I'm happy to be driving around Barcelona in the sunshine, through the city streets, down the beach. But one thing I've discovered as a driver, you literally have to stop every 20 meters. There's a red light or there's a pedestrian crossing. So I spend most of my time stopped waiting to get anywhere in the city center. But it's a good trade-off. Before we wrap up, I'd like to thank my Patreons and YouTube members, Peter Bouvier, Puppy, and Craig, for their ongoing support. I see that a whopping 96% of my viewers are not subscribers, so please go ahead and click that subscribe button because it really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Thanks and take care, and I'll see you in the next video.